still, that's much better than the conditions that we were dealing with these last few days. So this is the time that the firefighters can really get a good grip on fighting this fire that has now turned more with that southerly direction. So we were looking, you can see even the helicopters, there's a lot of fight when it comes to the ground and the air. And I'm glad that they have this window from now until at least early this afternoon to really fight those flames. And you can see as we go through the wind forecast.
You are entering the Poirsha Fit experience of holistic wellness. Your mental and physical health are now your number one priority. Guided by the wisdom of our ancestors, of mindfulness practices, and using food as our medicine. Healing ourselves naturally is our daily mantra. I'm glad you're here. Let's get into it.
Friday. And Marcel, this is getting closer. I got to estimate that is maybe 100 yards from that top home here in the Brentwood area. Oh my goodness. Tell us about how it's moving.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Poirsha Fit podcast. I am your host, Poirsha. It is episode 1 of season 2. We are also in a brand new year. It is Saturday, January 11th. 2025. I am a Valley girl, if you don't know, here born and raised in Los Angeles Valley. Fires are going on all over the place. It has been an extremely taxing week for all of us here, mentally and physically. I open up the window of my place and I can see the huge plume of smoke in the air. Helicopters are flying, dropping water, thankfully. I've been watching ABC 7 live news, as pretty much everybody has. That opening audio was a snippet of what I was listening to this morning while live streaming. And just getting updates from that on what's going on. My whole life is here in the valley. It spans in all the areas that you all have seen where all these fires are. I have friends, family members, co-workers, clients, students, all living in these areas. And this week, we have all just been texting one another, making phone calls to check in. I know many who have evacuated. We have lost power. My power was off for a day and a half, which seems like the least problem to have. My parents lost power for 3 days. They had to leave. Luckily, they were able to stay with close friends who are family pretty much. Seeing the smoke, seeing the fire, smelling the fire. It's just been, someone said it properly, surreal. That's been our experience. And it started earlier this week with the wind. The wind was insane. Like, I remember coming into the club at Equinox, is where I work, and every time someone would come in, we would get there, it's like, oh my gosh, I survived. Whew. Because the wind is blowing like crazy. I was seeing pieces of trees falling onto the freeway. One night when I was driving home from teaching, cops were at exits because trees have literally fallen onto the freeways. Huge, big rigs are on this freeway and you're seeing them swaying while you're driving. It's really scary. And it has been scary. And it started with those winds first. And then the fires now that have been going on all week long. And watching it live with my own eyeballs, seeing it on TV, you just sit there and you're just without words. I was watching one night for hours. It was at least 3 hours I watched. I watched on FaceTime with a friend. Then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to live stream it and continue watching. I watched a house just burn. And I just cried. Because you think about those people with all of their things, their whole life. Our whole lives are in our homes. Everything. Our plants. Of course, I'm talking about my plants. I'm thinking about actually this plant right here, my monstera, or my little big cheese plant. This plant was given to me from my mom, who was her mom's plant. And I've grown it all these years because my grandma passed away in 2015. I have it. She's grown new shoots. I would be devastated if I lost this plant. It's like my connection with my grandma. And imagine all the other mementos that people have in their homes that remind them of their family members and their jewelry, because jewelry gets passed down. I mean, I'm seeing on the news people looking through trying to find just their wedding rings because their partner has passed on. Maybe it's something to look into with ourselves. This attachment to things and how we put value. And I don't think we put value always just because of the actual item, but it's the emotions around it. It's the story behind it, how you received it. So many people receive things that, stay in the family line, like these rings. Oh, this was passed down from my great, 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 great grandmother. And it stopped with you, and it could just feel really heartbreaking. And now we have looters to worry about. These people who are going around to homes that have been evacuated, stealing. No one wants to deal with that, but that's what we're dealing with. And now this Saturday, we have those curfews from 6 p.m. until 6 a.m. So these losers aren't going into these people's homes stealing, coming up on a time when so many are down. So it's just been really weird. I taught a yoga class on Thursday morning. My class is at 7 a.m. I didn't even know the night before if we were going to be open or is anyone going to show up. Like, should we even be open? Everyone has this sort of kind of level of guilt, probably like survivor's guilt, kind of remorse, they call it. Like, people have just literally watched their homes just burn to the ground and they have nothing. And what, I'm supposed to just continue my life, just, oh yeah, time to hit the gym, time to go to restaurant and eat and laugh. And it's strange. It's a strange feeling. And I don't know how to feel, but we're all just taking every day, one day at a time. And it's this emotional roller coaster of, we don't know what's happening from 1 minute to the next. Because what we've experienced is there was a fire over there by the ocean in Pacific Palisades. Then there's a fire across the way in Silmar. It's another part of the valley. Then there's that fire in Pasadena, Altadena. And then we have these idiots who are starting fires, these arson. It's happening. Granada Hills, I just saw when I was driving on the freeway. I'm like, how is there a fire over here? Someone started it. We had to close Encino Equinox on Thursday. I'll tell that story. early because it sounded like arson. I don't know. Everyone's, getting different stories. Well, I saw this homeless person do that. I don't know. I don't know. Then there's the fires in Hollywood. My girlfriend, colleague, texted me on Wednesday checking in on me. Next thing you know, by the end of the night, I'm checking in on her. The fires are in Hollywood. She had to evacuate. My other girlfriend and colleague, she evacuated her family because the air quality, her son has asthma, baby. So we're just all reaching out to one another, which that is the light of all of this that I've experienced personally because I have more contact with people, my career. I've been full-time teaching for 1 full year now. Before that, it was part-time for 8 years I've been teaching. But I've been full-time, so I have more interactions with more people. I see my coworkers every single day. We have more of a closer relationship. I have more clients. I've had consistent clients for this whole entire year. So you really get to know people and they become people that you love and care about. So we are reaching out to each other to check in, to see if we need anything. Because it matters. They matter. And our family members who live in other states and other cities, they're calling. They're checking in. How are we doing? I can't imagine what you guys are all seeing. I don't know what it looks like. It probably looks, I don't know, it probably looks worse than what it is. I don't know. Or maybe you guys don't think it's as bad as what it, I don't know. But it's bad. People have lost their lives. And we all know this whole drama with the insurance companies dropping for fire coverage. That was already a big deal like months ago or a year ago. I don't know. I remember us all talking about that. Like, what? How are they going to do that? What, then they're going to drop us for earthquake insurance too? All natural disasters? Like, you guys are just screwed? Deal with it? And what makes it such a huge deal is that these homes out here, which a lot of you know, but we know because we live here, it's like the most basic shack looking of a house pretty much at this point in life is worth $1 million. It's almost to the point where you can't even consider a house unless it's $1 million. If the house is worth 700,000, the house is probably like dang near partially burned. It's like, oh, here's this land plot, these burned homes. Do you want it for $1 million? So these people's houses that burned in all these different areas, Pacific Palisades, those are millions of dollars, $15-20 million homes and more burned to the ground. And hopefully they have insurance. These people have been living in their homes since like 1970 something, 1990 something. They got married, raised their children, grandchildren. So no, people don't willingly just want to leave their home and everything. People want to protect their house, hose it down to protect it from the embers. And people have lost their lives trying to save their homes. My sister and I had a little bit of a debate about that yesterday. She's like, she saw a man who lost his life from trying to save his home. And she just thought it was so selfish of him to do. And she was like, how could they leave him at that house? I'm like, dude, the family left him because he wasn't going to leave. In a crisis situation, I mean, we've seen it in movies. If someone's like kicking and screaming and saying, I don't want to go, I'm going to stay, you have to make that decision. Are you going to stay and die with that person, or are you going to save your life and leave? And my sister just could not. She's like, no, I couldn't leave if it was like, let's just say my dad, my girlfriend. If your dad does not want to leave, if he refuses, you have to go. You can't just drag somebody against their will. So these people feel like, I said, hey, I'm this person. I'm like one of those people where I see life and death differently than majority of people. One, I'm not afraid of death. It's all coming to us. We can't avoid it. As my dad always said, hey, when it's your time, it's your time. And it's also, a lot of the times, it's your call. You have a choice whether you want to live or not. And that's something that people don't want to accept. But we have a choice of living or dying. We just do. You shouldn't have to be forced to survive, to live. It's hard out here. You wonder why we have all these mental issues. Oh, I forgot about this. A close family friend just lost his son. The son committed suicide in a horrible way. They stepped in front of a vehicle on a freeway to end their life. This happened also this year, in these last 11 days. We were shook. And it's like everyone thinks these people are so selfish, but I can kind of see the other side of it. Like, dude, life is so hard. The way that we've constructed life, it's expensive to even breathe. Someone just said, hey, if society can find a way to charge people for oxygen, they would. It's horrible to think, it's horrible to say, but it's true. Everything is so expensive. Why? For what? It's ridiculous. And people just can't handle it. I mean, I did the whole thing. I worked hard and studied in school. I graduated. I got my degree. I started my career. I put in the time. I climbed the corporate ladder. As a Black woman in corporate, we have a tougher time. But I still persevered. But it's hard work. It's mentally draining. For soccer, I am a D1 former soccer player. A Black woman playing soccer. Making my way my whole life to starting to having people not try to shortchange me, that's extremely difficult. It's extremely mentally taxing. Always having to fight to be seen, fight to be accepted, to fight to be seen as equal, which that's not happening. But having to be better than everyone else just to start on the team. That's my life, and I'm not complaining. But when you're having to work that hard every single day, you get exhausted. And especially at a time where everything is so expensive just to eat food. I don't know. I personally can't argue with somebody and try to force them to want to continue living this life. I mean, I'll try. But at the end of the day, it's someone's decision whether they want to keep doing this hard, challenging life. But there is a way, there is a light always, and that is my belief. We just need to make the time to go deep within, to come back to remembering the true meaning of life. And the true meaning and the reality is at the end of the day, we have choice. We are somewhat in charge. You can go against the grain. If you don't like the way society has been set up, you have an option to do something different. People might not approve. They might give you so much crap for it, for choosing an alternative lifestyle. But if you truly believe in the thing, then you go for it and you do it, no matter what anyone says. I did that. Last year, I decided that I didn't want to live in an apartment. I can't afford a house right now. during the pandemic, I was in the search for a home. I was pre-approved for a home for 700 something thousand dollars. But life would have it that that money needed to be invested in my business. So that's where I've been, just reinvesting my money into my business, into myself, into my dreams. So I needed to move last year. And I did the whole looking at homes and looking at apartments, and nothing was interesting. I just felt like everything would be a waste of my money and waste of my time. And the amount of money that they're charging for what they're offering was horrible. So I did something that pretty much no one approved of. But first, commercial break. Let's get your gut health balanced. Did you know instead of taking pills for probiotics, you can eat food and drinks with probiotics in it? Consuming real food is my number one choice and first recommendation for all of my clients needing to improve their gut health. Can you guess which kind of food it is? Yes, it is fermented foods. Fermenting Fairy is a fantastic company whose products are formulated to feed and support gut health. I found this company, I started buying from them, and I am a fan. My favorite part is it's all plant-based. They have so many delicious varieties. They have ginger applesauce, cinnamon applesauce. I still eat applesauce as a snack. There's a variety of sauerkraut flavors, caraway and fennel, dill, ginger, carrot, lemonades with lavender, elderberry, ginger, all kinds of coconut milk kefir. Right now, a brand new vanilla spice pear sauce and a new tart cherry lemonade. I'm hungry talking about it. So go to their website, fermentingfairy.com. Use discount code PorshaFit to receive 15% off your orders. And DM me at PorshaFit Podcast to tell me which foods and beverages you love the most. I wanted to buy a bus. I just happened to be, and I decided to look on a Craigslist. I don't know. I was just so disappointed at looking at these apartments and what they were offering. And I did those walkthroughs with the people. There's like, oh yeah, like here's the laundry room and like here's the this and the that. And I'd just be looking around in this place. And I would go to my car after looking at these homes and I would cry. Because it just seemed like a horrible life to live. I didn't want to live it like that. So the universe pointed me in the direction of looking into a bus. I'm not going to go into all the details now. I'll go into that another time, but I ended up not buying the bus, but I was so close, like a day away in discussion and talks. I didn't get the bus. Then I looked at a motorhome. I was a day away from purchasing that home. I was in talks with those people. I just couldn't see myself living in that one. I couldn't visualize it, just like the bus. The vision was blocked. Like I couldn't see me in there. But I knew that's the life I wanted. Then I did a lot of research afterwards, after I had this crazy idea. And, your parents tell you, no, it's not safe and all the things. No one wants you to do it. Family is just like, you're a little wacky-doo. But I was on a mission and I made a decision, and that's the life I wanted, something different. And then I came upon a toy hauler. It's a trailer where people put their ATVs inside. You drive it in, close it up, and drive it to wherever fun destination. Open it up and drive it out. I found one that was renovated on the inside, and I sat in it, and I with the owner of it. He and I just sat and I looked around and it felt like it was mine. So I bought it. I bought it and I've been living in it for a year now. This is the alternative lifestyle. This is the beginning. And I have so many innovative ideas. So this has been in the works in my mind of creating something that doesn't really exist. And I'm ready to step into this life, this alternative lifestyle, where it's no longer interesting to spend $1 million for some home that can just burn down. Some home that you put all of your life's work into, and then someone can just tell you, well, we're not going to cover it. So as much as these fires have been unsettling, I don't have to worry about packing up. I just have to hitch up. I get to hitch my trailer to my SUV and drive it away. Yes, I have an SUV that I purchased so that I can drive this thing around. I also have my car still. So someone will have to drive my car, which that wouldn't have been an issue. But I get to take my whole life, if you will, with me. So that was this feeling of I knew I made the right decision. And I knew that at this time in my life, I don't want to be stuck somewhere where I have to leave and evacuate and all my stuff is still somewhere. Because it's not about the stuff, it's about the meaning behind it. So this is the life that I want to dive deeper into. It's only the beginning that I started this. But I am ready to start seriously looking at land and building a community. That's where I'm headed. Because the food quality is trash. What they're putting into this food, we don't know what's in it. All these people with all these different kinds of cancer. No one knows why. Why is all this cancer happening? I know why. I've been known why. It's the food. It's the water. It's the weather seeding. It's the chemicals. It's the government. It's what they're putting in our food. It's the food coloring. We're eating plastic. We're eating toxins. What do you mean? How are we getting cancer? How are we all dying like this? Let's stop acting dumb. This poison. We're surrounded by poison. I made a decision now 7 years ago to stop eating meat and stop eating dairy. Unfortunately, I do make exceptions here and there for the dairy. Like yesterday, I went to lunch with a girlfriend and I don't have a lot of options sometimes. And I wanted pancakes, so I got the buttermilk pancake. I was not happy with it. I don't know if it was probably the buttermilk taste in the pancake or the disgusting non-syrup that they fed me. Normally I bring my own syrup, my own maple syrup, but we weren't expected to go eat breakfast somewhere that day. So I ate whatever syrup they had and it was disgusting. Like I forgot to ask. I was meaning to ask what was it? But I know what it is. It has to be high fructose corn syrup. Like whatever those non-maple syrups that they're trying to sell people that, you know, I grew up eating and drinking eating Aunt Jemima. I stopped all that crap. I don't eat that crap. I don't eat fake stuff. I don't eat high fructose corn syrup, anything. I gave that up. I left it behind. I've been the healthiest I've ever been. 7 years of this lifestyle. And I'm just evolving. Year after year, I'm getting better. I'm making less exceptions for things. It's still kind of hard because I'm not cooking. I have to eat out. Like I'm on the go with teaching. So I want a lifestyle where I can grow my own food. We have a community where we're more into farmers market eating. We have farmers markets here, yes, but I need to feel less of like I'm trying to be on this hamster wheel of I need to work so hard, I need to work all these hours, I need to have all these clients and all these classes so I could just pay bills. It's not easy. It's a grind. I'm trying to find this balance of how can I make a lot of money doing what I love to do, because I'm going to be helping people. What I love to do is teach. I just want to be teaching all day, every day. Teaching people how to live this holistic lifestyle. Teaching people that food is medicine. That taking time to do mindfulness practices is healing your mind and your body. You can heal yourself naturally. It's what I have on my podcast, on the picture. Mindset, movement, meditation. One of my pillars in my community is mindset, movement, nutrition. How can we heal ourselves? By doing mindfulness practices, by moving our bodies in intelligent ways, by eating nutritiously. These are my teachings. Those are the core of my teachings. I've lived it. I've done it. These past 7 years, I've lived this life, and more than 7 years. When I met my former partner, that's when I started to learn how to not take medicine when you're sick. His mom taught me some Hungarian practices to heal yourself with garlic, with orange juice, with water, and sweating. I've been doing that method since 2010. 15 years. I don't take medicine for sniffles or anything like that. Last year, I never got sick once. Not one time. I don't get sick. Maybe a little cold. The other years, it would be once a year. Maybe I would get some sniffles or have to blow my nose. But I don't have to miss work. I knock it out. So this is what I want to be teaching all the time. And I just feel with such high expenses of this life and trying to buy a home and do the traditional method, working hard until you retire at 65, and people can't even retire at 65 anymore. My dad's like, I'm just going to be working until I freaking kill over. I don't want that life for myself. I'm going to find another way. One of these ways is teaching online. I want to be able to teach from wherever I am in the world. I want to be able to create a retreat center where I live. People come and they learn how to garden, how to use the food to heal themselves. I want to have these communities where if something happens, we can mobilize. I want to have communities where we don't collect all this stuff. We just don't have garages filled with stuff. What I heard during this holiday season is people had Christmas stuff in their storage, but it was just too overwhelming to even go to the storage. So they bought new stuff to decorate. But we have the decoration. Why do we even have it? And I'm speaking to myself too. I have a storage unit. I downsize my life insanely, and all of my stuff does not fit here in my trailer. But I will make it all fit. I have to. But it's just taken me, a year to try and figure out how I'm going to sell my things. My things are in fantastic condition. I take great care of my clothes and belongings. And now with these fires, I'm like, this is the time. I gotta let this stuff go. I need to sell it. I need to get rid of it now. give it away. I have to. The time is now, because I don't want to be tied to this. What if my storage unit building burned on fire? To be honest, there's a little, I think I would feel relieved, low key. I'm not even going to lie. I think I feel relieved, like, oh, at least it's something I don't have to worry about anymore. But the idea of me opening up the door, the gate to my storage, I want to cry when I look inside. It's just too much. But it's like, what am I saving it for? Oh, for this future event. I have all these really nice plates and platters and cups and matching sets for, I was thinking about when one day I have a family, I'll be serving my food and meals in those dishes. I don't know. But how long is that going to be? I don't even have a man. Is it best to just sell your things, get rid of it, give it away, whatever? And then when the time actually happens, then buy the stuff? I don't know. I have all these CDs, DVDs that I'm going to take to this store to try and get some money for, because I do need money. I need the monies. And I have good stuff, but it just takes time and energy. Just navigating and trying to figure out how I can simplify my life. And I think that after all that's said and done, with all these fires that are going on, we're all just going to really take a good look at our lives and make some changes. Because this is, I think, that wake-up call that's needed for all of us to get out of this accumulation mindset. All these freaking Amazon deliveries that we're all doing, and food deliveries. Yes, we're keeping businesses in business, but I think we're still excessive. We don't need stuff. Christmas, oh, thank goodness, none of us bought any gifts for anybody, because we don't need anything. Like, the thought of one more thing to have to manage, to have. My godmom got me this sweater. A part of me was like, oh my gosh, not another thing. One more thing. I'm trying to get rid of clothes. But I appreciate it. My mom's like, you know what? You can keep it in your car for when you forgot a sweater and you need a sweater. I was like, you know what? That's a great idea, Mom. It's a great idea. And it's a really cute sweater. I just wore it. And guess what? It got pooped on. I was at school on a Wednesday teaching the kids. And I was walking, and there's all those poop birds, I call them. And I knew it. I just knew I was going to get pooped on that day. And surely, as soon as I'm done with the day, walking in my car, splat on my shoulder. I'm like, not my new sweater. Anyway, I think that's, I don't know, what's the lesson? What's the message? One is maybe appreciate each other more. Like I said, I felt extremely close to people in this time. Us all reaching out to each other. It's great. One day on Thursday, when I was teaching at Equinox, I was talking to just one of my coworkers for a second. I was checking in with her like, hey, do you have power? What's going on with you? She said no, she didn't have power. And I asked her about her fridge. Like, oh, well, what's your food situation? And she's like, I've been driving around the whole valley trying to find coolers every day, but no one sells a cooler. I said, I have a cooler. I only had an hour between clients, and I was like, girl, I'm going to go do it. I'm going to go to my storage and get you the cooler. I'll see what I can do. At that moment, I knew, I was like, man, I'm not going to be able to eat for several hours at this point. But I'd rather sacrifice for her to get her a cooler, so at least she doesn't lose her food. So I bust a mission to go to my storage unit. I grab the cooler. Luckily, it's all clean and nice. And I did a quick stop to eat. I stopped at In-N-Out, and I was like, nah, girl, this line is way too long. You're not going to make it. And then the next stop was El Pollo Loco. You may be asking, what does a plant-based woman eat at In-N-Out? What's my In-N-Out order? Well, it's this. My cousin makes fun of me all the time. I get a veggie sandwich. It's bread, lettuce, and I get extra tomato. And then I order fries. Sometimes I order 2 fries. Sometimes I order 2 veggie sandwiches and 1 fry. It just depends on the day. And then what I put on the sandwich, so it's just a bun, lettuce, and 2 slices of tomato. The tomato makes it nice and juicy, and I like the taste of it. I put my own sauce, so no spread, obviously. So I make my own spread. I have my avocado vegan mayo with ketchup, mustard, and sweet relish. And I just mix it together and put it on there, and it's delicious. I don't feel I'm missing out on anything. So that's why I eat at In-N-Out, and I eat there at least maybe 2 times, maybe 3 times a week. I know it's not good for you, but sometimes my life is just convenience and then how quick, because I have clients. Sometimes I teach for 3, 4, 5 hours straight. So I just had to eat something. So Pollo Loco, what do I eat there? I get the chicken tostada salad with no chicken, no cheese, no sour cream. I ask for extra beans and extra rice. So what's on the tostada salad? Then that's what am I left with? Beans, rice, lettuce, and pico de gallo. And then I use the avocado salsa. And it's delicious. And I love the tostada because I love chips. Tostada is good. So that's what I eat at Pollo Loco. It's fine. It keeps me full. I don't think I ate dinner that night. That was lunch dinner. And I got back to Equinox 10 minutes before I had the client. I gave my coworker the cooler. And just me doing that act, I guess you'll call it act of kindness, whatever, I will read you what she texted me. So I dropped off the cooler to her in her office. She texted me and said, "Poirsha, you have no idea. I cried so hard when you left my office. I couldn't even get up to hug you because I would have collapsed. Thank you so much. People don't usually come through for me, so this was a real big blessing. I really and honestly appreciate your help so much. Thanks again. I'll return it in pristine condition." I told her no worries. I said I was so happy I could help. See, God, He made me ask the right questions. I did. I didn't need to talk to her at that moment about, I don't know, it was just really weird. Just me asking about her food situation. And yeah, she needed a cooler. I had it. God knows. God knows I had it. God knows my heart. He knew I would jump at the chance to help her without even thinking about it. I would go hungry, just making sure that she had it. So it all worked out. But it's just the little things like that's where we need to be in our hearts during this time. My girlfriend just texted me right now. She's so sweet. "Boo, how are we doing? Are you okay?" Yes, I'm okay. I'm okay. Thankfully. Yeah. So just checking in on each other. And there's these shelters, animals, donations, people need food and all these things. My mom, godmom, and sister, they're going around right now picking up food and taking it to the Sylmar firefighters because that's where my parents live. So they're helping them out there in Hanson Dam. Then they'll be going to Pasadena, taking all of these clothes. I mean, between me, my mom, my sister, we have so many clothes, so many shoes, just bags and bags and bags. So they're going to gather it all and take it over there and help that way. For me, I'm going to pass on doing that. Like my donation is all the stuff that they're going to be giving, but I have to get organized in my life. Where I am, where I'm living, get my finances and everything. That's going to put me in a better position to just organize myself in these few days of downtime, especially getting to these taxes because I still have to do last year's. Okay. Yeah, your girl's really behind. And this year I vowed not to be behind so I don't have to pay those penalty fees. So that's what we do at a time like this. You just be human. And even though you might not be going through whatever the fire, whatever experience, at least open up your heart to see how people are feeling and to just say something. Hey, I'm just checking in on you. And also just being grateful for wherever position that you're in. These people who've lost their homes, so many are just so grateful to have their lives and to have their family alive. Because no matter what, someone's life is always worse than yours. That's just life. So shifting our perspective, getting out of woe is me and oh my gosh, my life woes, and being stuck in yourself, and changing that perspective to put yourself in someone else's position. Think about what someone else could be going through and being empathetic that way and showing compassion and inconveniencing yourself to help someone else. Small acts go a long way. A simple text means so much. I was able to talk to my cousin, who we haven't talked like that in a really long time since the pandemic. He called me. He said he debated. He's like, I wasn't sure, Porsche. I know you're busy. And I don't know. I wasn't sure between you or your mom. You guys are always busy. And he was like, I just called you. And I'm like, well, I'm thankful that you called me. Thank you. Everyone thinks I'm just so busy that I don't have time to talk. And that's something I want to work on too. I'm not too busy to be checked in on. I'm always that strong friend. People feel like they don't need to check on me because I got it. Well, I don't always have it. And I'm more vulnerable nowadays because I've opened up my heart to being honest and not trying to like brave my emotions. I've been working these years on feeling and trying my best to be more vulnerable. It's a lot of work, but I've made strides. I'm still working on it, trying to live that, my girlfriend calls it, oh, you're trying to live that soft girl lifestyle now? It's so hard for me to allow men to just open the door for me. But I'm forcing myself to allow men to do for me. Just random strangers want to open up the door, want to help me carry something. Oh, that's a big deal for me. I let them. Why not? I'd say okay. Big steps. Big steps I'm making towards change. I was planning on launching my Poirsha Fit Club community in January, but then I thought February would be a better time, and it turns out that it's the perfect time in February because we're still in this for I don't know how long, another week or so, but people have to live through this for far longer. Our city is a disaster. We have to clean it up. They have to start rebuilding. Like, this is going to take a lot of time. And this is a time where we need each other. And I need to connect also. That was my elbow I just cracked. So I'm leading this group where I'm leading the fitness classes several times a week. You'll have 3 classes a week minimum. And we get on a phone call and we have an accountability call, a check-in call once a week. And we'll be doing events together. Most of it virtual because we all can't be close to one another. We're all spread out. But I want a place where we can feel like there's home. I'm creating a place where people feel at home in my space. And this space that we're all going to create for all the people who join my community. As you all know, it's $108 a month. Technically, it's $108.99 because it has to be. But it's an online Mighty Network community. I haven't talked about it yet. I haven't promoted it yet. But I will, starting next week after this craziness is just going on. But we'll start. And you know what? This new year has been real crappy. And I just said, you know what, everybody? Let's just start the new year in February. This is our new start. And people agree. Yeah, why not? The new year starts February, and that's when the club will begin. And I'm excited to be leading it. And I hope that we get members, people to join, and we can create a safe space for all of us together online. And then we can look forward to me traveling around in my mobile life, meeting me around the globe, wherever I am, learning how to heal ourselves on our own, no longer relying on these government and doctors who are all so fixated on poisoning us with medications just so that we can feed their wallets. Let's do this naturally. Let's come back to nature, come back to doing things that align with our soul, reconnect our body-mind connection through these beautiful practices that have kept me sane, that keep me in balance, that keep me in check. Because we're all, as my students said, we're all just one situation away from having a mental breakdown. We're all one decision away from being broke, from losing it all. None of us are exempt. We can lose our health and lose everything. So I want everyone to stay healthy. I want everyone to prioritize the health of your mind and the health of your body. And if you need help with these practices, I'm here. Join my community. This is going to be an amazing community. I've already ran groups before. I'm a leader. It's my life. It's what I do. I lead people. But first, I had to lead myself. And I've done it. And now I'm here to share it with all of you. So let's stick together, everybody. We need each other. We need more love back into our hearts. We need to fall in love with ourselves. Fall in love with your mind again. Fall in love with your voice. Fall in love with your body. Stop wishing you were somebody else and had someone else's life. Oh, you thought it was the life to live in Pacific Palisades, huh? Maybe you were jealous. Now you're not, huh? Maybe you're fortunate. Maybe you're more fortunate than you thought. Use this time to reflect on life and just be grateful and know that I'm here. I'm here to stay. This is my life's work, to teach and to learn. And I want to learn from you, because in order to be a great teacher, you've got to be a fantastic student. And I am a student of life always and forever. So thank you all for listening today. I hope you have a beautiful weekend. And just remember that no matter how tough your situation is, somebody else is having it way worse than you. And let's just be grateful for who we are. And let's stay connected with the people that we love right here, right now. Don't miss out on these opportunities to connect with people you care about, because you never know who's going to be here and who's not. I will be back in your ear not so long from now. Thank you all so much. Namaste.